Right, I think this is the first video I record in English in this channel. I'll try to speak as clear as possible. I'm not too proud of my pronunciation, but I hope it's clear. I'm gonna talk about a game called Syllabits, which I released in 2019, which is based on another game I released in 2016 called Syllabitas, which is basically the same game but in Spanish. And I'm gonna talk about the origins of that game. If you already watched the video about Syllabitas, then you know already. But those videos, I recorded them in Spanish, Japanese, and Catalan. But it's the first time I talk about this in English. So I'm gonna talk from the beginning of how I came out with this idea. So if you haven't seen the video, just keep watching this one. So this is the website of Syllabitas, which is the Spanish one. You can go to the Syllabits, which is this one, right? And there's some sample videos and screenshots. But the idea of this game comes from a Japanese game called Mojipitan Daijiten. I don't know, I think the first version of the game is for PlayStation 2, but I got it on PSP, PlayStation Portable in 2005, I think. So quite a few years ago. I was in Japan at the time in Tokyo, and I went to this crazy store called Don Quixote. If you've never been there, I recommend you go. It's like a labyrinth, and they sell virtually anything from sofas to food to PlayStation Portables. So I bought this PlayStation Portable there, the first one, PSP 1000, and I got this game, and I think it's one of the best games I've ever played. It's a Japanese word puzzle game for Japanese people, but I think if you're learning Japanese, it's also quite good. So I got quite hooked. So the Japanese, I have to explain that the Japanese have a writing system called hiragana, which is based off simple sounds, because there's not too many sounds in Japanese. So basically, one letter in hiragana is just a vowel or a consonant and a vowel. That's all. So, for instance, you get a u e o, kakikuke ko, tachi tsu te to, etc. So, if you put two of those letters together, probably it's going to make a word, because it's not so many combinations. So even if you don't know Japanese, if you just keep dragging blocks from the left into the board, you'll make a word. You'll discover words. So it was great for word discovery. I think that's why it was fun. The main purpose of the game, I think the main rule to remember is that, well, you have to fill the board mainly, and you can only place a letter if next to it, either on the right or down, you made a word with it. So for instance, on this example is, well, if you cannot read hiragana, is a bit hard, but so if you play ru here, and then you make this word oshikiru, and then when you make the word, it opens the dictionary and says oshikiru, that means muri otosu. So it has a brief definition in Japanese, which I found quite useful. So you can review all the words that you've discovered, and it was fun for me. And so there's another example here. For instance, if you play the ru in here in the middle, you made several words, because you can make kuru, which means to come, and then kurusu with cross. And then you can also make the word rusu, which means to be home alone. Right, so this is the game, and I thought, well, it's a pity that you can only play this game in Japanese. Wouldn't it be great if there were versions of this game in other languages? And then at the time, in 2005, I thought, well, English, let's think about this game in English. And I thought, well, this is impossible to make in English, because how do you divide a word like a word like shriek, whatever? I cannot even spell that, SHRIECK. How do you divide it? So a part of Shrek can be made part of another word. Is like, there's not so many words that you can you can create with Shrek. Or I don't know. I thought it would be very hard, but then I thought, well, what about Spanish? Because Spanish has similar sounds to Japanese. It's not that different. The problem is, well, at the time, I started thinking, let's write it down in Spanish, and I have some of the notes I wrote at the time, which are these notes, and I thought, well, let's put all the combinations. The sounds are not that many, but you can write them in different ways. I thought that at first I thought maybe let's use a phonetic system because K can be written K-E, or can be written as well Q-U-E. So let's just use phonetics because it's just the same sound. But I think people would get very angry at me if I use the phonetic system. They wouldn't understand. So I tried to keep the spelling right. But I wrote some puzzles in there on paper, and it didn't really work. So I didn't feel it was gonna work. So I quit basically. But fast forward 10 years later to 2015, something quite sad happened. My mom had a brain stroke. Fortunately, she recovered, but at the beginning, she couldn't speak properly and she couldn't read. And I thought it would be great if she could practice with while playing with her iPad, to some game like this. Also because I noticed that she was mixing like groups of letters, something like syllables, but it's just like more like group of sounds. So I thought, well, maybe this game is useful. And I spent 1 year using virtually all my free time that I had, working on this game on my spare time. And yeah, I managed to create Syllabits, which is this Spanish version. I have some notes from that time I changed my notebook to a Moleskine. So I wrote the combinations. The combinations in the Spanish, there are many, not as many as in English, but for a syllable you can have consonant, vowel, consonant, consonant, vowel, consonant, vowel, consonant, blah blah. I dropped a few of them, like consonant, vowel, consonant, consonant, like in zinc. That's not too many. So I limited each block to have 1, 2, or maximum 3 letters, and then I put all the combinations, and the ones that were not very useful I removed. And well, basically that's it. I wrote down the basic rules, which is similar to the emoji Pitan, but a bit simplified and adapted to Spanish. But yeah, you have to make words on the same directions, from left to right or up to down. And yeah, I also wrote down about the characters I wanted to make, and etc. I wrote down some sample stages. It seems it would work, so I made the game. Well, so the game worked. I actually sent it to an indie festival called Indicate Europe. I went to Paris and I talked to a few people. I presented it there, but I didn't get very positive feedback. Some people told me this is very hard. They couldn't get past the second stage, even though the character is telling you the solution, but people are not reading. They're quite lazy. I was a bit disappointed and a bit down, but then I gave the game to my mom, and I think she enjoyed it a lot. Well, obviously she played because I'm her son, so she was motivated also because I made the game for her. But well, with patience, she managed to clear the whole game. So it isn't as hard as people wanted me to believe. Obviously, you need a bit of patience because it's a puzzle game. But with patience, even if you have a speech problem like my mom, you can clear it. So yeah, I was happy with that. And some people at the office told me, "Oh, well, this is great. Why don't you make this game in English?" And I was back to the memories of 2005, like well, this is too hard. I don't know how am I gonna make it, but I managed to make it in Spanish. So why not in English? Let's rethink it. And all of a sudden make it in English, it sounded hard. So I created another game called Syllabits. I can pronounce, which is the Catalan version of the game. So different stages. It only has 20 stages, but I thought this is like an intermediate level because it has a bit more sounds. Catalan has a few more sounds than Spanish, but it's still not so complicated as English. I don't think you have these weird words from Germanic origin. So it worked. So then I was more motivated to try to do the English version, and I managed to do it. The English version, I don't have my notes here now, but what I did is I actually focused on words that are more of Latin origin, Latin French. So you can actually make any kind of words, but I didn't put combinations of words that would create, combinations of letters that will help you create lots of Germanic words, because basically Germanic words tend to be more like full of consonants or something. I don't know. It's a bit hard, but yeah, I mean, all the English dictionary is there, so you can make any word, but the blocks that I'm giving you to play are a bit limited. So, well, you'll see. I'm gonna show you the game now. Let's get started. Right, so when you start the game for the first time, you will see this tutorial. Very simple, right? So it says tap. So you select one block and just tap here, and now you make this word cable. If I tap again, put it here, and make this word table. That's all. You can check the dictionary and see the words that you've made, and you can search the definition or listen to them. Cable, table, fine. Let's go to the next stage. So this is the list of stages. If you close this, you can go back to the level selection, and this is the main screen where you can see your scores and the scores of your friends. You can go to the game center to check all the scores, achievements. But anyway, let's continue playing. So let's go back to the second stage, which is this one. The goal of the stage is written here. This guy is telling you, is giving you hints or explaining what's going on. So you have to make the word line. So if I tap here and put it here, that doesn't work because Nelly is not a word. So easy, right? I just need to put Lee in here, the main line. Right. So let's go to the next stage. Right. So read. I give you hints. Pay attention to me. Yeah, I'm putting this tutorial because I noticed, as I said, from indicator people were not really reading, so I'm putting a lot of arrows in this one. Start with T vertically. This guy is telling me I have to make the word delete, but delete only fits in these three blocks, right? So delete, but yeah, you cannot put the here or by itself. You need to connect with this A. So the obvious thing to do is put T in here. Right, so I have T. Now, how do I put Li? I cannot put Li because lead is not a word, right? So I have to go and make a word with A below. Put gala, right? Gala is a word. Now I can make the word legal. And now finally I can make the word delete. And stage complete. I hope it makes sense. Right, so these are the words I made. Don't know what's dele. What's dele? Right, accept all cookies. So this is the Oxford Dictionary. State of mind, transitive verb. Oh, okay. Delete all the cookies is like deleting. I have no idea. Right, next stage. This is a bit tricky. You have to make more than 600 points. So big blocks cover a big area, the character says. So you can share this le between many words. So if you use that, you can actually make many words in here. So you have to exploit that to make as many words as possible. If I put, for instance, ma here, I can make male. And then if I put s, I can make males. So that's a three blocks for one word. So it's more points. And then you can put, for instance, pails. So when you see the ×2, it means you got double points, right? And then what? I don't know. Lay. Right. So now the board is full, and I didn't clear the stage. So you can tap here to go back to one step or as many steps as you want. So I can undo. You can redo. So let's leave them pale in there because I make pails. I think if I put a T, then I make pale palette, and also ST, which I guess is a street or stone. Stone, yeah, okay. You get some abbreviations in the dictionary as well. Right, next stage. You can see the scores in here. So if you want to repeat one stage, you can go and say, okay, let's repeat this one and try to make more than 750 points. You can. Let's abandon. Okay, syllabits with a number on it can be used more than once. So you have these three. So I have three say. So you can see immediately, probably you can make cell, sect, but I'm gonna put lect in here because I can see that I can make a longer word with select, and now sect, and now cell, and now pose, for instance. You don't have to think much. I mean, this is stages. Pour and redo, those. I made many words in there. Let's see. Well, yeah. Right, next. Okay, many people get stuck in this stage. The blinking pink syllabits can be used infinitely. So there's some blocks there. Well, these blocks, I call them syllabits. This ta block can be used many times. Unfortunately, there's no a word tata in English, because if there was a word tata, you could see that I could fill this board with tas. Ta 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 ta. No, you cannot do that, unfortunately. But right, I'm gonna go directly to one solution. I know there are multiple solutions in many of these stages, but these ones with so few blocks, actually there may be only a few solutions. But okay, well, what can you make with okay here? So book, right? And then with ta, you should try to put ta everywhere because this is your wild card, right? So let's try to put ka in there. So it turns out that bota is a word, and you can check how does it? Bota. Okay, whatever. I think it comes from Spanish. Bota. Okay, but in Spanish it's just bota. Large cask. Blah blah blah. Fine. And then botanic, right? And I know there's a word called botanica, which I think it's American though, but so botanica, right? Small store that sells herbal, blah blah blah, right? And then let's try with the nictate. I cannot put ta in there, but from the top I can do tame, and then meta, and then metal, and then tail. Right. Next. Now I unlocked all these stages. Now you can choose freely the next one. I'm gonna pick the cherry one. Some of the stages are the same in the Spanish version, but most of them I just create the new ones. So in Spanish there's also this stage, but obviously the solution is different. but you have to make 4 cherries in this stage. Right, so I have 4 chairs and 4 rye, so, and you have this R as well, so you can try to make car, I don't know, carry. You're gonna put re there because what? But you could put chair. I don't know what's chair. I don't understand. Chair. A river. Wow. U.S. actress. What? Well, that's in the dictionary. I'm confused. Well. Right. So I could make the cherry. Well, I think I'm doomed, right? Because I'm not gonna be able to put the 4 cherries in there. So let's go back. I think you have to put, in order to fit, I think you have to start with a chair. So cash. Cash is the word. I mean, it doesn't sound chair in cash. English is weird, so yeah, not cache, but cash. And then chair, and then cherry, right? Now I think I have a space now for cherries. So chair, cherry, chair, cherry, and I have one more to go. Cherry. Actually, I could have also fill in the other empty spaces if I wanted more points, but well. Right. I think that's all. If you are stuck in a stage, or if you like the game or whatever, leave me a comment below, and I'll try to help you if you're stuck, or I don't know, whatever you want to say. Bye.